And this one is a competitive theme park builder, but what's interesting about this one is that players are actually going to be building the same theme park together. The first half of the game has players installing roads and railways and also installing the various attractions. But once the fourth attraction is built, the gates of the park are going to open, moving players into the second phase of the game, where they're going to be able to move their meeples through the park and visit those various attractions in order to score victory points and earn money and trigger the end of the game, because once a player has visited all the attractions, that's going to trigger the end scoring. And the way the players are going to be doing all of this throughout the game is by taking turns and then just performing one action on their turn. During the first phase of the game, the actions that are available to you will allow you to place tracks or roads, and you'll also be earning money for any of those tracks that you play. With that money, you can purchase various attractions or rides that you can also place into the park. And you can actually purchase a ride and then any of the associated facilities that match that ride's icon, pairing them together and increasing the amount of revenue that that ride can bring. But of course, you'll need mechanics in order to build these rides and then operators to run them, and that is one of the actions, is to hire various team members. The operators and the mechanics are required in order to build and run your rides, but the other characters are optional and come with various bonuses throughout the game. And like I said, once that fourth attraction is built, it does open up the gates of the park and kick off the second phase of the game, but that doesn't mean that your theme park is going to stop growing, because you can still perform all these same actions on the second half of the game. But now that those gates are open, this is going to allow for a whole new set of actions to be performed through the use of each of the player's action cards, because each player is going to have a hand of action cards, and as you use these, you're always going to be replenishing them back up to your hand limit at the end of your turn. But you're essentially going to be using these to move your meeples into the park, paying the entrance fee, which is going to be increasing as more and more rides are added into the park. But then you're going to be trying to visit the various rides, and then you're going to be gaining money if you own that ride or spending it if it's one of your opponents. And you can also take the train to get around the park quicker, and the same goes there. If you are using your opponent's train station, then you're going to have to pay them, but they're going to have to pay you to use yours. You do have a limited number of these action cards that you can play on your turn, but some of the path tiles that players put out at the start of the game will actually have a card icon located on it, and if you do land on that space, that will allow you to play more cards. And these cards can have a whole variety of effects. They don't just allow you to move around out on the board. They can allow you to break down or fix different rides, or even allow you to do certain actions for free. And of course, you'll be trying to use these to your advantage to try and squeak ahead of the competition. The first player to visit all the rides triggers the end of the game, and then players are going to be adding up their total victory points based on the remaining money, any of their action cards that grant them victory points, as well as their completed buildings and train stations, and finally from the rides that they're able to visit. The player with the most victory points wins the game, and if you're interested in this one, you can check it out. I have it linked in the description below.